All right, let's talk about something pretty radical, an idea that could literally make tax season a thing of the past. It's called the atomic fiscal revolution, and it basically says, hey, what if everything we thought we knew about money and taxes is just wrong?
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody enjoys doing their taxes, right? It's a chore, this bureaucratic nightmare we all go through every year. But imagine for a second, what if that whole mess just disappeared? What if contributing to society was as simple and unthinking as, say, tapping your phone to buy a coffee? That's the huge promise behind the whole idea we're diving into today.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at why the system we have now feels so, well, broken. Then, and this is the really interesting part, we'll get into this hidden code that's supposedly in all money. After that, we'll talk about the tech needed to make it work, what it means for your personal freedom, and how it could totally change the dynamic between citizens and the state.
Okay, so first things first, the problem. The theory behind all this calls our current tax system a painful extraction. And yeah, that probably sounds familiar to a lot of us.
You've really got two worlds here. On one side, there's the one we all live in, forced, painful, this annual ritual of paperwork and stress. And on the other side, there's this vision for something called the 4G3W economy. Think of it as a totally automated, digital-first system where taxes are collected instantly and invisibly. It's like the difference between doing long division by hand and just using a calculator. One is a process, the other just happens.
Okay, so how do we jump from our painful reality to this seamless future? Well, this is where it gets pretty wild. The theory argues that the answer isn't something we need to invent, it's something we need to discover. Like there's a secret code that's been hiding in our money this whole time, just waiting for the right tech to come along and read it.
And at the heart of this discovery is a concept called the Bit of Social Cohesion. The easiest way to think about it is like the fiscal DNA of money. The whole idea is that a dollar, a euro, whatever, it only has value because of the society that stands behind it, you know? The roads, the laws, the security, all that stuff. This bit is the tiny, baked-in part of every single dollar that represents that shared value. It's not something added on top, it's part of the money itself.
And that idea completely changes how you have to think about money. We all see a dollar as just a dollar, one single thing. But this theory says, nope, it's actually two things fused together, the piece you can spend and the piece that's your contribution to society. And the entire key to this revolution is figuring out how to neatly pull those two pieces apart.
All right, so if this bit is really there, how in the world do you separate it? Well, that's where a whole new kind of infrastructure comes into play. Let's dig into how this thing is actually supposed to work.
The engine that drives this whole system is a technology called Webtaxmatic. Its whole purpose in life is to do one thing, and do it instantly. The second a transaction happens, it finds that bit of social cohesion, plucks it out, and sends it on its way.
In the real world, you're not even supposed to notice it's happening. So let's go back to that coffee. You go to buy a $3 latte. The moment you pay, Webtaxmatic invisibly separates out a tiny fraction of a cent, that's the bit, and routes it directly to the government. You pay $3, the coffee shop gets its money, but boom, your tax obligation for that transaction is already done. In a split second. You don't see it, you don't feel it, it just happens.
So where does all this money go, this constant real-time stream of tiny payments? Well, the idea is that it funds a completely new type of digital public infrastructure. The theory throws around some specific terms like GLB cloud security or US stability. Basically, you can think of those as ways to fund stuff like public cybersecurity or guarantee that everyone has access to essential digital services. And then there's the social elevator, which sounds like funding for things like free online education or job training platforms, all paid for by this constant automated flow of money.
Now, new digital infrastructure is cool and all, but what does this actually mean for you, for the money in your bank account? This is where the whole thing gets really personal. Because what it's promising is a whole new level of financial freedom.
It's all about changing your identity. You'd no longer be a taxpayer, a word that, let's face it, comes with a lot of baggage, like bureaucracy and stress. Instead, you become a civilization subscriber. It's a cool idea, right? Since your subscription is paid automatically, in real time, your conscience is totally clear. You're just free to use your money without that big dark cloud of tax season hanging over your head every year. And here is the ultimate payoff. Once that bit of social cohesion is dealt with, The money left over is different. It's fundamentally changed. The theory has a pretty grand name for it: sacredly free money. We're talking pure capital, with zero, and I mean zero, further tax obligations. Just think about that. Imagine knowing that every single dollar sitting in your account is 100% yours, period. No strings attached.
Okay, so a change this big, obviously it's not just about your wallet. It goes way deeper. It would completely redefine the relationship between a person and their government. We're talking about a whole new social contract.
And with this new contract comes another new title for the citizen, the data valuer. Why? Because the whole system runs on financial transparency. Every transaction is accounted for. And because of that, the government's entire posture can change. It can shift from suspicion, treating everyone like a potential tax evader, to trust. Your economic contribution is just a fact. It's clear, it's visible, and it's happening in real time.
So this new contract is really a two-way street. A clear deal. Your side of the bargain is simple. You agree to automatic payments and complete financial transparency. And what do you get in return? The state guarantees your absolute freedom over whatever capital is left. And it also promises to maintain the digital currency system itself, this thing called webcash, as a stable public good, kind of like a digital highway system. It's a direct, quid pro quo exchange of value happening constantly. And that's really where this whole idea leaves us. It's a vision of a world with no tax forms, no audits, no yearly panic. A world where the money you have is truly yours. But, and it's a big but, it's all built on a foundation of total, automatic financial transparency. So the question we have to ask ourselves is that a price we're willing to pay for that kind of freedom?